Assalamualaikum and a very pleasant day to all. For today, our group will be presenting about understanding the environmental impact of household chemical waste towards people in Klang Valley.
Today, I am Ungku Najiha will proceed with the background of the research. The topic of our research is understanding the environmental impact of household clinical waste towards people in Klang Valley. According to Agramutu and Barasati 2020, the amount of clinical waste has been increasing from time to time ever since pandemic COVID-19. The government in Malaysia making mandatory for the citizens to wear face masks in public areas and even providing COVID tests when you have any symptoms. Other than that, Malaysia is a country that has a higher amount of diabetes and thus the need of insulin use also increasing in the country. Hence, the clinical waste at home also been increasing and thus the need to understand the environmental impact of it towards people in Klang Valley. Next, I will discuss the problem statement. The increasing amount of clinical waste consumed by people in Malaysia is increasing from time to time. There are many types of household clinical waste that are usually can be found and used by people in Malaysia such as test kit, medical face mask, cotton swab, insulin needles and even disposable syringe. As we know, there are many impact from proper disposal of this household clinical waste and even there are very little to no knowledge being enforced towards the people. They can pollute the groundwater supplies, emit air pollution and even disrupting the ecosystem in the areas. We then move to the next research questions and also the research objective of this study. The first research question is there any relationship between soil pollution and the household clinical waste towards people in Klang Valley? While the second research question is on whether there are any relationship between air pollution and the household clinical waste towards people in Klang Valley. While the last research question is regarding whether there is any relationship between water pollution and the household clinical waste towards people in Klang Valley. I then will be presenting regarding the research objectives that are needed in the study. There are several research objectives such as the first, to identify the relationship between soil pollution and the household clinical waste towards people in Klang Valley. The second is to assess any relationship between air pollution and the household clinical waste towards people in Klang Valley, while the last research objective is to determine the relationship between water pollution and also the household clinical waste towards people in Klang Valley. Then we move to the conceptual framework, where it consists of one dependent variable and three independent variables. The dependent variables is household clinical waste, while the independent variables are soil pollution, air pollution, and also water pollution. We can see from this diagram, which is the conceptual framework that we had done throughout this study. Then I will proceed with the hypothesis development in this study. The first hypothesis is the influence of soil pollution toward household clinical waste, where the rationale 1, there is no significant relationship between soil pollution and the household clinical waste, and H alternative 1, where there is a significant relationship between soil pollution and also household clinical waste. We move to the second hypothesis regarding the influence of air pollution towards household clinical waste, where the H02 stated that there is no significant relationship between air pollution and household clinical waste, while H alternative 2, there is a significant relationship between air pollution and also household clinical waste. The third hypothesis in this study is regarding the influence of water pollution towards household clinical waste. The H03 stated that there is no significant relationship between water pollution and household clinical waste, and the H alternative 3 stated that there is a significant relationship between water pollution and household clinical waste. Next, I will move to the research methodology. The first research objective is regarding research design. It is a cross-sectional survey being used where the data collection will be collected at a particular time to answer all of these research objectives. Furthermore, the quantitative research method used in this study relies on the primary data from a survey involving the Malaysian public, especially people around Klang Valley. Second is the unit of analysis. In this field of study, the community at Klang Valley will be the research subject. It represents the old age classification from teenagers, adult, and elderly, including a range of age around 18 years old to 59 years old. The data collected using the questionnaire from the Google Form survey starts from October 2022 until February 2023, and it will then be observed. This study will focus on the relationship between household clinical waste and soil pollution, air pollution, and even water pollution for people at Klang Valley. Next is regarding the sampling technique. The proposed sampling technique that will be used is simple random sampling. Since this is a quantitative research, a questionnaire will be distributed to people at Klang Valley in order to identify the factors that resulting to environmental impact towards household clinical waste in Klang Valley. The next is regarding data measurement, where the first is section A for demographic data of the respondent, section B household clinical waste, section C soil pollution, section D air pollution, section E is water pollution. All of these are being divided into demographic, independent variable, and also dependent variable.
I will proceed to the next point, which is sample size of the study. The sample size of the study is 360 respondents among people of Klang Valley. The numbers of respondents has been calculated based on the total population of Klang Valley, which is around 6,555.6 thousand people. This is based on the Department of Statistics Malaysia 2020. In a nutshell, the calculation for the sample size is based on the Craigie and Morgan 1970 table to find the numbers of respondents needed for the study. Now, we move to the data analysis. The data analysis that we use in our study is pilot test, normality test, reliability test, and the last one is person correlation. It is the part of research protocols which could assist the researcher in planning and modifying the main study, especially the reliability and validity of the study. Last but not least, in research methodology, we had the data collection used in this study. The data collection consists of 5 sections, and the first one is section A. It has the demographic data of respondents, and section B it consists of household clinical waste. For the part C, it has soil pollution, and the fourth one is section D, which is air pollution, and the last section is consists of water pollution. I will proceed to the next point, which is sample size of the study. The sample size of the study is 360 respondents among people of Klang Valley. The numbers of respondents has been calculated based on the total population of Klang Valley, which is around 6,555.6 thousand people. This is based on the Department of Statistics Malaysia 2020. In a nutshell, the calculation for the sample size is based on the Craigie and Morgan 1970 table to find the numbers of respondents needed for the study. Now, we move to the data analysis. The data analysis that we use in our study is pilot test, normality test, reliability test, and the last one is person correlation. It is the part of research protocols which could assist the researcher in planning and modifying the main study, especially the reliability and validity of the study. Last but not least, in research methodology, we had the data collection used in this study. The data collection consists of 5 sections, and the first one is section A. It has the demographic data of respondents, and section B it consists of household clinical waste. For the part C, it has soil pollution, and the fourth one is section D, which is air pollution, and the last section is consists of water pollution. I will proceed with the main finding in this study. Okay, for the first objective is to identify the relationship between soil pollution and the household clinical waste toward people in Klang Valley. The analysis method used is person correlation, and the result occur is R value is negative 0.001 and the P value we get 0.991. This is I can conclude that in the hypothesis the H01 is accepted and H81 is rejected. So for the next objective is to assess any relationship between air pollution and the household clinical waste toward people in Klang Valley. The analysis method is same like the first objective, which is Pearson correlation. For the R value, we got 0.584 and the P value we get 0.000. So I can conclude that the hypothesis is the HA2 is accepted and H01 is rejected. Next, for the third objective is to determine the relationship between water pollution and the household clinical waste toward people in Klang Valley. The analysis used is Pearson correlation, and the result for the R value is negative 0.05 and the P value is 0.289. I can conclude that for the hypothesis is HO3 is accepted and A3 is rejected. Now I proceed to the next recommendation of this study. First is government action. According to World Health Organization 2022, tens of thousands of tons of extramedical waste generated in response to the COVID-19 pandemic has put a numerous strain on clinical waste management systems throughout the world, endangering human and environmental health and highlighting the critical needs to enhance waste management procedures. Through exposure to infectious pathogens, improper waste treatment offers substantial hazard of disease transmission to garbage pickers, waste employees, health professionals, patients, and the population in general. On July 24, 2021, the Malaysian Ministry of Health (MOH) announced guidelines for the management of COVID-19. Soft-health kits. The Malaysian government can learn from other countries about the organized clinical waste disposal. Among the suggestions that can be used are the creation of special waste bin in open community areas such as recreational park, open areas, at the entrance of shopping center and at gas station to allow people to dispose of COVID-19 waste more effectively, and this waste can be taken by registered concessionaires to be properly disposed of. This can aid in the safe and orderly disposal of COVID-19 clinical waste. Second is individual awareness and education. The recommendation that should be done is individual and household need to separate the disposal face mask, soft-health kit, and hand sanitizer from the others domestic waste. According to Nur Khatijah 2021, households can learn from foreign countries where their citizens separate and label every clinical waste in a plastic so that it can warn the rubbish collector that the labeled plastic contains dangerous substances. For example, in South Korea, face masks from households are thrown into waste bag labeled waste for burning or incinerator and waste for landfill. Other than that, the public cooperation and engagement in garbage sorting and effective clinical waste management is critical to ensuring successful clinical waste management and reducing health concerns. The last one is a role of mass media. Advertising strategies has been used over the past few decades to spread about the importance to separate the domestic waste and the clinical waste. This initiative is focused on creating awareness toward public that hazardous waste can affect human health and environment also. Without a question, the media accompany the public through all of the change that occur. People's method of informing themselves have evolved over time, with some favoring some media while dismissing others. The popularization of social networking site is one of the most significant revolution in media. People, among other things, engage with other users from views and set trends. I will continue with the research limitation. The first research limitation is less satisfactory in involvement of Klang Valley people. Consequently, researchers found out that it was difficult to collect data for the survey. Recently, the researcher only required 360 respondents as the amount of sample size specifically in Klang Valley, in which the number can be considered less than a total number of population in that particular area. Even though the questionnaire has been forwarded through WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, it takes quite some time for the survey to meet the number of target required. Second limitation is lack of understanding about this study. In this study, researchers found that some respondents answered the survey form without reading the contents of the survey form. This happened probably because they are lazy to read and take it easy by filling out the survey just to carry out the task. In addition, the researcher concluded based on the data received that some respondents did not answer the survey form accurately, and the researcher felt that this should not happen. This is also likely due to the respondent not knowing about the fact given by the researcher. This can also inhibit the data that will be collected by the researcher. The last research limitation is duration of the study, where it is regarding the timeline and duration of the study given to complete the proposal and even in conducting the study. The study proposal was given to us starting from May 2020 up till October 2022, and initially the time given was shorter than it's supposed to be due to many things needed to be conducted as preparing the proposal, gathering information, studying about people in Klang Valley, choosing the environmental impact needed to be observed, and even to study the environmental impact from household clinical waste. In addition, there is also hiccups where there is delay in data collection due to limitation in distributing the questionnaire for people in Klang Valley, as we are based in Seremban. In conclusion, on this research, it will help the researcher to gain a new knowledge on the relationship between soil pollution and the clinical waste toward people in Klang Valley. In fact, this research also is about the air pollution and the clinical waste toward people in Klang Valley. It can be seen that clinical waste also can give impact on environment. Thank you.